Well, today some of the residents from Penn Plaza are trying to put a little bit of a pressure on our mayor, Bill Peduto, who has failed to live up to his promises in finding homes for people. He has promised to meet with them, promised these folks who have spent most of their lives in East Liberty, people who built East Liberty, people who lived through urban renewal, people who were loyal there, raised their children there, spent their taxes there, and are now being forced out of the city into the deindustrialized suburbs in many, many cases. He has promised these people that he would not have to leave our city. Well, they've already left the city, along with many, many other people. So they came here today to say he needs to live up to his promises and find places so people can move back into the city. We are ridding the city of low-income people. It's a disproportionately African-American population. It's a racist policy at its core, but this is a policy that has to be changed. People have a right to live in the city. This is their home, and they have a right to stay here.
So he talks the talk of equity. He says that the city should be livable for everybody, but when it comes to actually adopting mandatory inclusionary zoning, a guaranteed amount of affordable housing in new development in hot market neighborhoods where the rents are going up, you know, that's good PR for him then. If he talks about it but doesn't do it, you know, that's not right. It's not acceptable. It is in some ways more damaging because he pulls along all of these people, good, well-meaning people who believe in what he's saying, but then they are not aware of everything that he's not doing.
I came here to see Peduto, the mayor, about what he said about he had a place for us to stay, and he told me that he had. I asked him why did he make arrangements for us to make arrangements to see us, and he said he did, but he didn't.
You live in Verona, you used to live in East Liberty. Two different locations in East Liberty. But you never told me that. You never told me.
But you didn't accept the meeting.
I know, but when you said 200 people, we helped 198, 2 people, this person, you said you couldn't get me anywhere in East Liberty, and we did. And we did. And we did. Come on in, have a burger.
Thank you. I got nervous because we confronted him. We confronted him with a lie. He knew he was lying. He knew he was lying.
What was the lie?
The lie was he wasn't trying to get in touch with us to do anything about it. He knew where we were at. He knows where we're at. And he said, all I had to do, he said, I know where you're at. And when y'all didn't, he said, I had 2 places for you to move to. Now, Orchard was one of them. And with the roaches in there and the ceiling falling down and having nobody lived in that building for 2 years and no elevators, he wanted to put me in there? No, no.
And Melon Orchard, that's got to come down clear to the ground to put people in there to live.
Is that wrong?
It's actually condemned.
Really?
Yeah, it's been empty for over 2 years.
So what are they trying to put you in it then?
They couldn't put us in, me or her, because there's no elevator.
He said he promised us a place to stay out of the vicinity of East Liberty. But I really want to stay here. Ackerman or Ken or whatever, we had that meeting with him yesterday. He's talking about an apartment down there on Nagley, the Orchard. It's not even put up. It's not even together. So we got till the 31st to move. So how are we going to move on the 31st and that place be together? Don't have no elevators, you know. So what am I going to do? I can't stay there. They were already moved out of there. The best thing we had going for us might have been about 50 people at the most. But then we asked him because we knew time was running out for us March 31st. Time was running out. We asked him to help, but.
Nice to see you guys. I'll be in. I'm going to have dinner here too, so I'll come in and have dinner with you.
Okay. It's not going nowhere. Well, he's doing the same thing. He's ignoring, come on, sit down and eat, and you know, it is going to be all right. How's it going to be all right? You're not going to tell me where you done found a place and you got a place for us to stay?
The mayor really wants this city to be a technological hub. He has worked very hard to invite and to make the city hospitable to companies like Google and to Duolingo right over there, and Uber. And we welcome that. We welcome Google employees to our neighborhoods. But as he's doing that, he needs to uphold the rights and the needs of people who've lived here for decades and who have family, friends, churches. You know, these people that were displaced have whole networks. You know, Miss Myrtle used to walk just a couple blocks to see her adult children. She said, you know, I have these health problems. So there's all kinds of research that shows that displacement is physically damaging, that illness and medical conditions are, you know, terrible medical conditions actually go way up for people who are displaced. Death rates go way up. And there were 4 people who died in Penn Plaza during the time that we, you know, over the course of the displacement over these past years.
What makes me most angry right now is that I'm in a place like I'm in jail. And I'm singled around there with nobody there. My family, everybody's in the city. My family, my friends, everybody's in the city. And I'm out there in the suburbs.
Because you don't have anything for my opponent, I still went to the office, I'm like, have you success? Of course you did. Yes, you did. But the thing was, we still, it wasn't during campaign season I was trying to get your vote. What I was trying to do was trying to make sure you had the opportunity to vote.
So I think the mayor really believed that I was campaigning for him. He wasn't lying when he said that, but he was mistaken. But what does it have to do with following through on the promises that he had made to the group, you know, disability advocates and fair housing advocates and you know, policy experts and the residents who all had come together and who wanted to continue the discussion about actually adopting policies that would create real change. I had campaigned hard for him back in when he was first elected. And it's as though he expected me on some level to continue to be loyal to him as a person. There is no intention on my part to damage him as a person or as an elected official. But I feel like it's my responsibility as part of his administration to hold him to account, as I hold myself to account.
Racism is an integral part of capitalism. You know, if capitalism is to survive, it needs racism to divide people. So this is another way people are being divided over the issue of housing, over the issue of public funding. There's a lot of ways in which people get divided over racism, and people get played off against one another. But when you take a population, you know, the low-income population is disproportionately, because of racism, going all the way back to slavery, is disproportionately low income. So when you rid your city of low-income people, whether you intended to be racist or not, it becomes a racist policy. And we wind up whitening our city even more than it's been whitened already. We already live in a city that's horribly segregated, and we're making it worse every single day. You know, we have what's considered to be progressive mayor or progressive city council. They say all the right things about civil rights, about homophobia, about transphobia, about misogyny. They think that Trump's a terrible human being. But the bottom line is they do nothing. Fight's got to go on, you know, we have to make a fight. We cannot allow this city to become a white city of just folks who work for the Googles of the world. We're not opposed to progress. No one's opposed to progress. We're not opposed to new buildings. No one's opposed to new buildings. What we're saying is the people who built this city have a right to stay in this city. That these are not expendable human beings. Capitalism has reached the stage where we're seeing a significant sector of the working class as expendable human beings. They are not expendable. They have a right to be here, and we're going to make sure that happens.
Bill Peduto has said, if it's not for all, it's not for us. So let's make that true. Let's hold him to that.